Spoilers for all of Stormlight. All right, we're talking very briefly today about the Night of Sorrows. And the question on my mind is, do you think we have seen the Night of Sorrows yet? We have it referenced 3 times in the books. Honor in a vision of the Recreants, the Night of Sorrows will come, and the True Desolation, the Everstorm. So a connection between those 3 ideas. Certainly we've seen the True Desolation. The Fused have returned to Roshar. This is not the false desolation that Ba Mishram facilitated, several thousand years ago. Unite them. The sun approaches the horizon. The Everstorm comes. The True Desolation. The Night of Sorrows. You must prepare. Now, this time, the Night of Sorrows is listed 3rd, which is interesting because it's the opposite placement from the first time. There's also a really interesting piece there about the sun approaching the horizon. I am wondering if that doesn't indicate that the sun is approaching the horizon as in to rise. You wouldn't have to tell someone the sun approaches the horizon if the sun is setting. You would see that. You would see that it's getting darker. You would see that the night approaches. But if the sun is approaching the horizon as in to rise, and yet because of the Everstorm, because of the True Desolation, it's not going to rise, that would be a true Night of Sorrows for Roshar. And then a death rattle. I have seen the end, I have heard it named. The Night of Sorrows, the True Desolation, the Everstorm. Now, what do I think all this means? I think that this is a thing that will happen, an event that will happen, and I like some theorizing that I've seen online that it will be more than just a physical night, but that it will be a investiture night, that something is going to happen that is going to rob Roshar of Stormlight, that the Stormfather will be disrupted in some way, similar to the Weeping, right? They already have periods where spheres are not infused for long periods of time, but that as a result of the True Desolation, as a result of the Everstorm, the Stormfather and the storm that brings Stormlight throughout Roshar is going to be interrupted, and that is going to be this Night of Sorrows. And I think it's going to happen towards the end of a Weeping, that's the sun approaching the horizon that they're talking about, that everyone's expecting there to be a renewal of investiture. But instead, they're going to enter into the Night of Sorrows, a time when the Knights Radiant will be much less powerful. Yes, they'll still have their Bonded Spren, they'll still have potential Shard Plate, but they're not going to have the Surge Binding that they would expect to have. And getting into a theory that's coming much later, Cultivation has already begun to prepare some of her people to not need Stormlight. So it's very possible that she is well aware that this Night of Sorrows is on the way, that Lift is just one example of her machinations there to be ready for it, and I am scared for our poor little friends, Kaladin and Szeth, and Syl and Shallan and Dalinar and everybody else, because this does not seem like a happy time, and I think it is still yet to come. But I want to know, do you think we've already seen the Night of Sorrows? And if not, what do you think it's going to look like?